All right, here we go. We've got ourselves another fresh series coming at you. Spawning up at the top right for Basilisk, it is Reynor. In the red. And his opponent spawning down on the bottom left, it is the captain for the Shopify Rebellion. It's Harstem. In the blue, and he is going for a gas first. Nifty. Nifty. Yep, it's a good build. If you get away with it, if you don't, you get 12 pooled. Well, it's not such a great time. But we're not going to see a 12 pool. Not this time. Reynor is a player who will 12 pool his opponent, though. And it can work out very well. But Reynor, yeah, he's not going for it. ZVP these days, I know he's expressed some frustration, and he's actually lost a couple of big-ish matches in PvZ recently, specifically for a qualifier for a tournament. Lost to both Skilless and Showtime. Not able to beat those two strong European players. A lot of people have been saying, oh, you know, Protoss can't beat Zerg, or Protoss can't win series that are, you know, high stakes or whatever. But, well, anyone who's actually really paying attention knows that at least PvZ is in a pretty good state, and Protoss is certainly capable of winning. Certainly capable of winning, and Skilless and Showtime showing us that that is absolutely the case. But those are just qualifiers. Still, Reynor, I know that he's been struggling a little bit with the matchup recently. Now let's see what happens here. Harstem is a player that's very good at this matchup and had been a real thorn in Reynor's side specifically for quite some time. Hadn't been able to win any big matches, and then was able to actually knock Reynor out of ESL Masters Atlanta. Now, even though it's no commitment with this, we are going to see the double Adept. Yeah, he's not going to shade. Ain't no way. That would have been pretty nuts if he had gone for the shade there. Reynor did delay his ling speed a fair bit. Delaying it by about 30 seconds. Harstem going hunting for this Overlord, but shouldn't be able to find it. However, if he uses this Oracle, he will. Oh. Can it escape across? No, I don't think so. I think that Overlord should go down. Ling speed will complete momentarily. Where are the Lings? Well, they're not close enough to contest this, and there is the kill. Almost could have maybe kept it alive, but it does ultimately go down. And that's obviously a very nice pick-off for Harstem. Reynor's now got nothing even close to his opponent's side of the map. Harstem starting up a Twilight Council and 2 additional gateways. This looks like Glaive Adepts behind this, but we'll see. We'll see. Harstem does like quick blink from time to time. Oh, only able to get one drone right there. And Reynor taking quite a bit of HP off of that one Oracle. Still, as long as you keep the Oracles alive, it's all Gucci. There it is. It is going to be Glaives. Reynor, though, I do like this very much. It is going to be a quick wall at the front. Evo Chamber, Roach Warren. Now, where the Evo Chamber is actually located, it's not going to be as easy to create a full wall here. You won't be able to drop an additional Evo Chamber. You'll have to drop like a Spore Crawler or something. So that actually could end up being a little bit of a problem. Would have been better for Reynor in this specific situation if he had dropped the Evo Chamber a little bit. 1 hex to the left, basically. Oh my goodness, this Oracle so low in HP, but there is no Queen in the main. Not in position at any rate to get the kill. If it had been on the south side of the hatchery, that's a dead Oracle 100% of the time. But instead, it escapes out with 1 HP. HP. Ooh, Adept's going to try and maneuver around this lane. Good job from Reynor, or from Harstem, keeping those Adepts hidden. And because there's no vision, basically, until now, Reynor didn't know about these Adepts until they show up on his side of the map. Glaives will be done, and there is so much potential for Harstem to get crippling damage. Roaches will pop out. There's the Adepts shading into the natural. Reynor very quick on the drone pull. Will get out of here. Only losing 2 drones so far. Honestly, fantastic defense so far from Reynor. He even jams the Lings into a pocket to prevent the Adepts from getting out of... Well, getting further into the main base for free. So they do have to kind of cut their way through. And now the Lings, or the Adept shade into the Queens. We are going to see a good bit of drone damage in the natural. It's the Adept's target fire, but I think this is going to be a totally fine cleanup for Reynor. Good target fire on that one low HP Adept, and a great Queen position here. Once again, good usage of the SimCity from Reynor. Harstem. Oh, okay, Oracle's in the natural. Adept in the main base could have been the focus of attention, and that would have been able to get like 4 or 5 more drones. So the fact that he went in with the Oracles actually ends up being counterintuitive. Because, attention is a resource, and he didn't have the attention on the Adepts that he needed. Behind all this, 4th Nexus is halfway done. Even though Reynor lost a fair number of drones, it wasn't a crippling amount. And he's droned up quite hard behind this. I actually think I prefer Reynor's position at this point. Roach speed needs to start up pretty soon. Well, ideally, it would have started up a while ago. We do have an infestation pit. Almost certainly this is going to be for Hive. There's a Hydra Den, so I expect we'll see lurkers behind this as well. Oracles with a lot of energy. Reynor does have some real nice creeps right here. There's that roach speed. Okay. Yeah, I definitely... Well... Harstem does have a late +1 weapons. His tech, how's it looking? Not fantastic. He's going to have Storm pretty soon, but only 1 robotics facility. No charge, but it is coming online pretty soon. The big thing is that Harstem did get his 4th Nexus at a good timing. His economy is fantastic. So it's not like Reynor is going to outscale him massively. As I say that, Reynor went up to 92 drones. So, I mean, if this gold base goes uncontested, maybe Reynor will start to scale up and become rather difficult to contest. Harstem did get a 2nd Forge and starts up that +1 armor right as he starts the +2. And of course, that goes very nicely into a 3-2 timing, which, even though I called it a timing, it's really less so about the timing itself and more so about the fact that you just get ridiculously powerful units. Reynor will scout into the main base, sees this double forge, sees the Templar Archives. That's good information. Reynor himself is on double Evo right now. I wonder if we're going to eventually see Zerg players starting to go triple Evo at some point to deal with this double forge style. Hey, thank you very much for the raid, SC2 Fool. Appreciate it. We do see 2 additional gateways, but more importantly, the fleet beacon coming on in. And with no additional Stargate at the moment, chances are that's just for a mothership. But, of course, you can add on a 2nd or 3rd Stargate really kind of at your leisure. Not super expensive when you're on 4 bases and 87 probes to just get, 1 additional Stargate. 150 minerals, 150 gas, very affordable. Even, 300 minerals, 300 gas is quite affordable at this stage. Harstem with a War Prism on the top side. Zealot run by on the right. Reynor does have these lurkers to deal with the frontal push, but not a whole lot of static defense in the natural. He's going to be forced to bring back a lot of Ling Roach to deal with this. Meanwhile, Ravagers and Spines and a Lurker will deal with this Zealot run by on the right side. Good defense so far from Reynor. Great defense, I would even go so far as to say. And with the Lurkers set up here defensively, yeah, I don't think you want to attack into this many +2 Lurkers. Good job from Reynor making sure to spread out the Lurkers even more to increase their effectiveness. But Harstem going to knock down these rocks and try and bash through. I don't think there's a whole lot to be done here, though. Reynor still sees part of this army because the creep is behind it. +3 weapons, +1 shields, interestingly, for Reynor. Or for Harstem, I should say. Harstem will find a couple of spines at the gold. Oh, wow. Barely didn't kill one of them. Oh, but the War Prism in the main base, getting in just before these spines complete. Reynor going to be forced to bring back a lot of units to try and defend this. Lurkers, there's not a whole lot of them. Harstem maybe could have just bashed through, but he's not going to go for it. Lings will kind of hold the army in position. Reynor, he's going to be able to at least hold at the front. And he's pushed that War Prism away. Adrenal Glands during all this has completed. That Mothership is about to complete here for Harstem. That's going to give him a lot of mobility with that double recall. And also, he's getting into Tempest, which is going to allow him to siege down the Lurkers very effectively. Harstem orbing in a few more Zealots, but he doesn't have that much free supply. Still, a couple of drones going to get picked off at this base. Ooh, Storm on the army trying to push through the middle of the map. At least one High Templar goes down, but the other ones will be protected for the moment. Oh, Lurkers get caught away from the rest of the army. Force fields, grabbing them, keeping them locked in here. Ooh, no detection. Harstem popping that cloaking field at the perfect moment. But I think he needs to back away. This is not a super massive army. And there is a big danger of him maybe getting enveloped here. Still, as long as he has storms, he can kind of hang around and be okay. You just got to be really careful about it. Oh, the one lurker here. Okay, never mind. There's another observer. Oh, Storm. Looks like it caught a couple of Lings. Gold base was getting denied, and it's going to be getting denied potentially again here. Oh, Storms. Going to be difficult to deal with. We've got +2 shields, +2 air weapons on the way. Reynor does have a Spire, and he's got a Greater Spire as well, but no air upgrades just yet. Roach counterattack on the bottom side. That's going to find a little bit of an opening, but a couple of Hydras, quite a few Hydras actually going down. Meanwhile, Ling run by into the natural. These are Glaive Adepts, so they will deal with this relatively well. Actually, very well with the help of the cannons. Oh my goodness, that was way better than I expected. 13 drones going down during all this as well, to a big Zealot run by. Reynor, though, will be able to find a lot of damage on this probe line. Storm, though, on the middle of the map. There's action everywhere here. Lurker line going to get busted for the moment. 23 Hydras on the way. Do we have any Storms left over? There is one High Templar somewhere. Oh, Roaches will find an Immortal there. Ooh, Harstem going to get on top of this army with 3-1-1 Zealots against 3-0 Roaches. Oh, the Roaches do get into a pocket. Nice Ravager morph there as he gets into that position. War Prism will go down. There's a High Templar. Does it have Storm? The answer is no, not yet. And the Mama Ship going to go down as a result. Charge Lots will try and jump it on top of this army, but there's just a few too many Hydras. And there's 5 Immortals. Can they get away? That is a big deal if they do or don't. That could be a huge swing in this game. But a massive number of Zealots warp in. And that will, well, that will trigger Reynor to retreat. Very important that he got out of there. Reynor's bank is pretty much gone, whereas Harstem's got a gigantic amount of money. 3K, 2.5K in the bank. And Harstem's upgrades are just fantastic. He's on 3-2 or 3-1-2. Well, soon to be 3-1-2 and soon to be 2-0-2 for the air. 3-1-2 for the ground, 2-0-2 for the air. Storms, oh, on the Hydras, that's one big storm. There are a lot of Lurkers here, and the Immortals are kind of zoning them out. One Immortal goes down, another one as well. Battery Overcharge will send Reynor packing. At least for the moment, but a Tempest, another one falls. Harstem, oh man, he needs units and he needs them now. He does still have a significant amount of money in the bank. Zealots running it a little bit in a line. They will try and re-spread out. They do manage to do so, Good job from Harstem to make sure he didn't get his observer sniped. Pulled it back, and he will drive Reynor back home. Oh, that's a lot of immortal barriers getting triggered right there, but is there enough to turn this back around? That's a lot of +2 melee lings with adrenal glands. Oh, that immortal barrier popped or came back online at the perfect moment, but it wasn't enough to keep it alive. Still, this is a very close back and forth game. We are going to see a little bit of Roach Hydra, just a tiny amount. Going to deny Harstem's 6th base, it looks like. Find a couple of probes as well. Ooh, that's a lot of High Templar, but they are not ready to storm, and we're going to see a lot of Archons morphing in. That is not what you want here with these units. He wanted those to be storms, and he did not want one of his Archons to get sniped right away. Zealot defense, or Zealot run by on the top side. Actually, against just the Lings and Hydras, having a heck of a time. Will eventually get cleaned up. Meanwhile, another Zealot run by on the right side. This time is going to be shift-clicking drones. Ooh, but a nice pull right there from Reynor. Means that he only loses 2 drones for that. Very clean defense, and you can see on the resources lost. Oh, no, that is, in fact, Harstem who is ahead. 6,000 resources ahead. Oof. And now the High Templar, the ones that didn't have to morph, do have storms. This Observer seeing so much. Overseer, meanwhile, will get killed off, I believe. Reynor has added on a Carapace upgrade, and he's getting in towards +2 Carapace. No +3 melee, though. 2 Immortals being added on at a time for quite a long time by Harstem. Oh, this Lurker setup. It is going to be tough to attack into. There's no Oracles, so losing that Observer means no detection at the moment. But another one coming on in. Is there Observer speed? The answer is no. Harstem would love to see him continue to add on air upgrades. Oh, he's going to try and go through the middle. Reynor will get in behind his own wall. Wow, that Archon took way less damage than I expected with how many Lurker Spines there were, but I guess you're looking for the splash more than anything. Queen's going to come in from the side, but they're not going to do too well at all against Storm Archon Immortal. And that Queen line just got absolutely obliterated. Counterattack on the bottom side from Reynor is not going to get the denial on the base he was looking for. And in fact, these Zealots are going to maybe get a full cleanup of this little Roach Hydra force. Reynor is just out of money at this point. And he is going to lose another base on the top side. He's got so many drones and a big economy, especially relative to Harstem. If he can actually manage to get these Tempests and get the save on the base... Nope, never mind. Never mind. Reynor just runs out of money. Harstem outlasts his opponent and takes game 1. All right, here we go. Game number 2. Spawning down in the bottom right for Basilisk, it is Reynor in the red. And his opponent spawning up at the top left for the Shopify Rebellion, it is Harstem in the blue. That was a great showing from Harstem right there. The captain struck and did very well. Very, very well. I honestly think Reynor was fine after the Glaive Adepts. But wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. We're going to be seeing the, well, hatchery on the 3rd base location, of course. As Harstem went for the block. And we'll see if we get the double Chrono Adept or not. It's always interesting. Yeah, Protoss players are getting a lot better at playing against this. I said, and I want it on the record, I said when the patch came out, the Mothership was going to be a very strong unit. People didn't believe me. But it is. It is a big, powerful unit. The acceleration change, the time warp, the second recall. It's been a big, high-impact unit. And people didn't think I was right. They were like, no. Ah. But I was right. Damn it. Come on. Also, a lot of it is that Broodlords were nerfed pretty hard, but still. Yeah, Broodlords are not great units against ground toss anymore. Oh, Adept going to get zoned out. Honestly, pretty hard. That was a fair bit of damage to its shields. Harstem didn't want to go in until the second Adept was here. Ah, he's going to shade, though. Grabs a Ling. Nice job. Grabs a second Ling. Reynor is putting a fair bit of HP damage into one of these Adepts. But more importantly, he saves the drones. That's the big thing. You want to save those drones. Very important. And he does manage to do so. Still, Harstem was able to get at least a little bit of lost mining time. Kept his own Adepts alive. And will expand behind us. And unlike the previous game, not going to delay his second Oracle. Actually, did he delay his second Oracle? Oh, am I crazy? I might be thinking of another game. Oh, wraparound on top of one of these Adepts, but not able to get the kill. Harstem keeps it alive. Reynor does force out the Oracle's Pulsar Beam energy. So at least there's that. Now this time, is it going to be Glaive Adepts, or is it going to be additional... Or is it going to be a fast blink? We'll see. With 2 more gateways coming online as quick as they are, I'm leaning towards fast Glaive Adepts. Even though they didn't get an amazing amount of damage done in the previous game, they did keep Reynor back, very much so. And they got a decent amount of damage and allowed Harstem to push the game in a certain direction, which is into roaches. Oracle not able to get the creep tumor here, which is a little bit unfortunate because he actually takes a decent bit of hull damage on it and hasn't been able to kill a drone yet. So a really clean start from Reynor so far. Okay, it will be blink. So this is what I honestly have come to expect from Harstem, but that means that other players have probably come to expect it, and I like to see that he's switching it up. We do have a revelation on the creep, but unfortunately it doesn't grab the active tumor, which is really unfortunate, actually, because one Oracle is basically fully drained. And Reynor, yeah, this is a really strong early game for Reynor. No damage taken, or at least no worker damage taken whatsoever. Very strong creep. Harstem, not a whole lot of Oracle energy either. He's going to be able to revelate. Oh, finding that active tumor is kind of nice. He's going to be able to revelate at least a little bit of this. Hey, thank you, Shu. Oh, he doesn't get the other replacement tumor. I do see a quick Templar Archives, and yeah, there's going to be a 4th base coming on down behind this for sure. Harstem, very late forge, but can he get a cancel on this 4th? That would be a great pickoff, and he will find this. Blinks into the corner. I wonder if Reynor could have picked the fight there. I think it's probably the right call that he didn't, since that would have actually been taking place, that little fight. Just a little bit off creep, but that means Harstem gets to get out of here for no losses. That's really big. Reynor did have another hatchery building on the bottom left, but this was the 4th base that got denied, and it went from being, I would say, a very good start for Reynor to well, a much less advantageous one. As long as Harstem can, you know, retain units effectively. I will say, though, this creep spread, I mean, with how far forward it is, Harstem does need to start paring that back, pruning it back. Harstem, very quick storm off of this. Reynor, what's his play going to be? He's getting into... Yeah, there's Bane speed. Roach speed getting pretty far along. Welcome, Provident Morvigen. We're going to be seeing, +1 Carapace coming down as well as +2 melee. This is very likely going to be fast ultras coming in from Reynor. Harstem does have charge done. He will, of course, have that +1 weapons finishing up shortly. It was late relative to when we'd normally see it. That's, of course, not... That wasn't made late by accident. It was on purpose as a part of the build, focusing much more on a quick storm timing. There's that +2 weapons coming in for Harstem. Wonder if we'll see him get a second forge at any point. Ooh, Contaminate is available now. Boom. Overlord speed did complete, but unfortunately not fast enough to save that Overseer. Ooh, we got 8 Banes that just... Oh, this is just defensive in nature. Little Zealot run by, going to try and come in on the bottom side. Harstem does have Storm. Reynor gonna have to, of course, be very careful about that. Very careful. Hive is gonna complete here for Reynor in a moment. And I'm very much expecting to see a quick Ultra Den. Ultra Den? Ultra Cavern. Oh. Zealots will get blasted by the Banelings and Lynx. Still, Harstem, he's playing this out just fine. Okay, I was like, where are those units? They somehow got their way onto creep. A lot of Archons here. Very few Immortals. This is a really good situation to go for these fast Ultras here. Especially since Harstem is not identified it yet. And has not built basically any Immortals. Like, if Reynor pops out, you know, 5 Ultras, and Harstem tries to push with mostly Archon Storm, this becomes very ugly very quickly here for Harstem's army. But if Harstem pushes before those Immortals are, or pardon me, the Ultras are out, which is a very real possibility at this point, this could backfire pretty hard for Reynor. Chitinous Plating is on the way. Oh, big storms coming in. They also splash the Archons a little bit, but they are going to force Reynor back. Reynor trying to pump out quite a few Banelings here. Meanwhile, Archon Zealot. It is going to be a bit of a flank. We do have Banelings able to, well, unable to connect on the High Templar. That is not enough spines to defend this right side base. Reynor getting pushed back very hard. There we go. 3 Ultras on the way. Archons will get blown up at the front. Storm's pretty strong and hit a lot of Banelings on the tail end. Reynor actually running through the storm twice, kind of. Really hurt him a lot. Zealot run by will get cleaned up. Harstem losing a lot. Trying to reinforce into this, though. But the Ultras are going to be hitting the field very shortly. Not in massive numbers. Harstem taking a 5th base during all this. Reynor trying to hold his own 5th. Ooh, a couple of Queens going to get blasted real hard. Chitinous Plating going to complete momentarily. Immortal number 1 will get at least 1 kill. There's the barrier getting popped and cleaved through. But nice Ward Prism Micro right there from Harstem. And all the Ultras get cleaned up. I mean, I thought Ultras were going to be really good here, but only if there was like 5 or 6 of them. And they came in all at once when it was only 3. Not so great. And there's that Immortal finally going down. Here come the Ultras. And the Storms will get mitigated pretty effectively. Reynor will be able to deal with this. Oh, recall on 1, 2, 3, 4, high 5, high Templar, but only 2 of them get out. And the other 2 don't have Storm yet. Oh, that Stasis Ward could have been big. But unfortunately, it will not be. And Reynor, remaxing, staying maxed out, basically, has traded efficiently. And even though that looked really rough kind of for Reynor, Harstem, that was like all of his army. Like, he built up to that one attack and wasn't able to end the game. And now this robotics facility is under extreme threat. It is very... Well, no, it will be saved. But a lot of the static defense going to go down in the meanwhile. And now Reynor just backs away. More importantly, though, the 5th base was killed. Harstem landing a Storm. But Storms on Ultras are never the dream. However, the Immortals, they're to go into town, and great War Prism Micro here. However, now the rest of the front line gets exposed. Reynor will... he will get held. But... Oh, that one... Okay, finally the Immortal... Or the Ultralisk goes down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Lings were able to buy enough time. And more importantly than anything, he just blasts through everything. Reynor takes game number 2. All right, here we go. Game number 3. Spawning down in the bottom right for Basilisk, it is Reynor in the red. And his opponent spawning up the top left for the Shopify Rebellion, it's Harstem in the blue. Reynor able to get... Well, able to get the jump really on Harstem in that one. That was honestly looking pretty okay for Harstem after he got the cancel on the 4th. But I guess Reynor's early game was... Like, the early game going well is just so big. When the early game goes as well as it did for Reynor there, like taking no damage, even if he lost the 4th, which he did, it was still just such a solid start otherwise that it was all right. And then those Ultras did end up being enough to kind of break the momentum of the army, even though it looked like a bad fight initially for Reynor because he lost those 3 Ultras. But Harstem lost a lot of his front line too. And then he was left with Storms, but he was left with Storms against, like, still 2 more Ultras and not enough to sustain it. That was a game that felt a little bit weird, though. Because it was like, oh, okay, the Ultras are going to be good against this. And then when just 3 of them kind of popped out a little bit slowly and a little bit separately, it wasn't so great. But then, because they cleaned up enough of it, the following 2 Ultras were actually the big... They were the big difference maker. All right. Harstem once again going for the hatch block here, which I do like. Adept gonna shade forward, look for a little opening on the 3rd base. Nope. Says no. And second Adept will join up with it. And then this is where the fun can potentially begin here. Oh. He canceled the Stalker and builds a Zealot instead. Maybe just trying to show that this is still active. Double Adept. I was going to say, he's a little bit too far onto creep to actually commit with the Shade, in my opinion. And he does decide to back away as Ling Speed, well, the 330 Ling Speed timing that is so common, even though Reynor actually delayed it a little. The 330 Ling Speed would have made any aggressive shade, even if he didn't actually go for it, would have made it a little risky. Once again, he canceled and restarted the Zealot. That is very funky. Right now, there's nothing in the wall if... Okay, probe gets put in. Okay, I like that. I was like, this is a little bit risky for Harstem. If Reynor had run in, it could have been real bad. With no Stalker actually be... Oh, looks like he sniped a drone. With no Stalker actually being completed, by the way, he kind of bluffed this Overlord back home. That is cute. So what Harstem did is he showed Reynor, like, hey, I'm building a third unit. It's probably a Stalker. You should back away. And so Reynor ran away with the Overlord. Oh, look at that Evo Chamber morph. Oh, that was very clean. Nice defense from Reynor there. Harstem, even though he's grabbed a single drone with this Oracle, it's not a lot. And you're still usually pretty happy if you've only lost one drone in the early game. Roachhorn coming in for Reynor. Harstem is going to be going for a much more standard Twilight Council and Forge here. And will, in fact, be charged this time. So, usually I would say the standard is Blink, but I think they're both... very playable. I don't think either one of them is unplayable by any stretch. Couple Adepts. They're going to be able to find... Oh, 2 Creep Tumors. That's nice with a Revelation. And he'll get a third. Unfortunate he didn't get it just before the Creep Tumor completed. Whenever you kill the Papa Tumor, if the Baby Tumor's not done yet, well, they both die. Oh. Double Oracle going to keep the Adepts alive. Harstem has been playing just Double Oracle today. It does make it a lot more difficult to... kind of secure control of places, but it does allow you to tech up more quickly because, of course, saving that 150 gas, putting it into other tech, whether that be the Twilight Council, the +1 weapons, a robotics facility, what have you. It accelerates your tech a little bit more. That is a lot of Zealots coming across the map, by the way. 14 Zealots. This is something Max Pax was doing before. We do have a Spire on the way here for Reynor, but he's also building a few Roaches. They're not really out in numbers yet. This is going to get defended, I think. Great positioning on the Queens and Roaches in the mineral line, and that will allow this to hold its own. Oh, he lost the 2 Oracles during all this. That is actually very rough for Harstem. Can he get the kill on this base? If he does, that actually maybe makes this... I don't know if it makes it worth it, but it makes it less bad at least. He's going to recall out, saves a fair number of Zealots. Huh. Okay. I'm not sure. That gets a little weird because he's building his own 4th Nexus. Reynor... If he had Roach Speed done with this +1 missile, I would say this is very bad for Harstem. As it is, though, there's a lot of Zealots. He did recall out a fair number of them. Saved a fair number. There is no Roach Speed, which would make this attack very committed if he decided to move in with it. Especially with Force Fields available. But we do have Mutas on the way. Reynor, gotta be super careful. And he will back away, knowing that the danger of Force Fields on a ramp against slow Roaches are, well, they're a lot. They're a big danger. That's a hallucinated Colossus. Very cute. Very, very cute. But, well, it's kind of funny. We do see a Phoenix in a production and a shield battery being built at every mineral line. Oh, that's going to be a dead Stalker as it tries to warp in. Could potentially have gone for the 2nd Stalker as well, but instead elects to switch over to the probes, which I am fond of, and that's actually going to be quite a few probes going down. 8 probes die. It is quite difficult to deal with Mutas. And it is certainly Reynor's turn to get partying, so to speak. To have a little bit of fun with those Mutas. Did he rebuild an Oracle? He did. He built the third Oracle, and that's actually going to be rather handy. Oh no, the Phoenixes loses one to the Mutas right there. Of course, he was focused on the front line, where the Roach Ravager is here in huge numbers. Immortal will get gunned down. Not going to be able to make it to the safety of the shield battery. Archon's falling as well, and Reynor is looking poised to take this one down. 2-1. Battery overcharge will get popped, but the Corrosive Biles will blast it down almost immediately. Zealot's going to warp on in, but Reynor going to plug the gap that they want to run through. And I think we're going to see GG any moment now. Harstem just doesn't have enough to defend. Reynor will survive the scary Dutchman. I mean, Harstem, he's trying to hold the Immortal and the Natural. Going to be able to deal with these Roaches with the help of a Zealot warp in. No, there's not quite enough. Honestly, that looked for just a moment, for about 5-10 seconds. I was starting to wonder if maybe Harstem could hold. But the answer is no. He will not be able to hold. I think Harstem threw away a few too many units with the first attack. And Reynor able to deliver a decisive counter blow. 20 probes have fallen. I don't think Reynor needs to attack into the Natural right here. I think he can just consolidate his win by killing off this third base, heading on over to the fourth, killing that. But looks like it's not even going to matter. He just has too much stuff. Depower a couple of gateways in a moment. Battery overcharge will do its darndest to keep that Immortal alive, but there is just way too much DPS, and GG's going to get called. Reynor takes the game and the series. Well done by him. And if you enjoyed that one, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Check out the rest of my videos, and we will catch you on the flip side.